If you've ever ordered a takeaway coffee, chances are you've heard of KeepCup. They are the OG and the barista standard for reusable cups. Today on the pod, we're lucky enough to have the founder themselves, Abigail Forsyth, with us. We're going to talk about starting the company and the war on waste in the hospitality industry. Stay tuned because it's going to be a great episode.
Welcome back to the It's Just Coffee podcast, everyone. I'm Kirk Pearson.
I'm Rowan Cook.
And together we are
It's Just Coffee.
That's how we introduce you. So we'll get there later on. But we've got Abigail Forsyth, CEO, founder of KeepCup.
Yay! Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, excited to be here.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you. We're going to ask you a million billion questions today. We usually get the coffee podcast, It's Just Coffee podcast, started with some news. So I'll enlighten you with some news, enlighten listeners. Liam, can you press the button?
And that's how you introduce coffee news.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
How's this one? Luckin Coffee in China reaches 20,000 stores. So get this, Chinese coffee franchise Luckin Coffee has opened their 20,000th franchise with the milestone store opening in Beijing just a year and a month ago. In June 2023, Luckin Coffee celebrated its 10,000th store opening in Xiamen, Fujian. So they're opening 10,000 coffee shops a year effectively.
That's a lot of coffee shops.
A couple of single-use cups going on there.
A lot of disposable cups.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a lot. Seems like a massive expansion. They're a franchise as well. So it's not like, the company controls it. They sell it off.
So I'm uneducated in this market. Is coffee at the moment in China just taking an absolute boom? Like, it just feels like it's going off. They're buying all the best coffee from all the importers. All these coffee shops are going off. Even chatting to some of the coffee machine manufacturers, they're saying that China is the number one market now and just blowing up.
My understanding is they've got like an emerging middle class. And so they're just, given that they're the second most populous country in the world, their ability to consume is greater. And coffee's just getting more and more popular worldwide, in my opinion.
I think in cultures where they don't drink a lot of wine,
Yeah, that's true.
It's a nice thing to go out and have a bit of a special knowledge of.
But that's a lot of logistics. 20,000 stores, 10,000 in 1 year. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah,
we should try and get someone from Luckin Coffee on the podcast.
Absolutely, I'm down.
I want to know.
I'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
See if they want some.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we'll
turn that into. This is the sales pitch now. Luckin Coffee, if you're listening, and you need some reusable cups,
and you do.
You know where to come.
Exactly.
All right. Second up, El Salvador President Nayib Bukele has launched a new high-end coffee brand called Bean of Fire, targeting the United States market for sales. The exact connection between Bukele, the brand, and US operations remains unclear, although the launch of consumer product from a sitting head of state represents an extraordinary conflict of interest. So this one came from, I've got to credit dailycoffeenews.com for this one. I don't know, president starting a coffee brand.
Isn't their base currency Bitcoin?
Perhaps, but he's also...
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so he's also locking out. So El Salvador has actually become a much safer country since he's become president, although he kind of just locks everyone up. So it's like,
Pros and cons.
There are pros and cons. There's probably a few people being arbitrarily arrested.
If they're all locked up, it sounds like a lot of cons.
Yeah, but anyway... I'll tell you what, El Salvador, they've got the coffee, and the coffee's good in El Salvador. I think a lot of people sleep on their coffee, but there we go. Nayib Bukele in the news.
Absolutely.
Would you buy some of that coffee?
No.
Abigail?
I'd give it a try.
Yeah, well, got to give everything a go. Over to you, Rowan.
Alrighty, we like to start off our first question, Abigail. Just a really hard one. What's your go-to coffee order?
Flat white.
Flat white. Flat white is the key. I reckon that's resounding. We need to get a board going behind us where we can have all the guests' orders.
I do have a filter that I make myself at home.
Okay.
It's not very good.
What brewer do you use?
I don't mix it up.
Yeah. Oh, so you got a whole variety.
And is there any process going into this, or is it just going by eye? That looks good? Throw that in.
In my earlier life, I did run cafes, and I was a lot of the time banned from making coffee behind the machine. You have to be very precise, don't you? Very precise, very methodical.
Yeah,
not core skills of mine.
Yeah, that's been the one thing that's kind of evolved since I've been a barista. Every year, the thing that kind of becomes more clear is just that precision, the weight, the temperatures, all of those things, just to make sure consistent as possible.
Believe it or not, Abigail, there might be some people who have their heads in the sand that don't know what KeepCup is. So, well, as we introduce you, so Abigail Forsyth from KeepCup, could you just tell us a little about, give us your elevator pitch on what KeepCup is and how it all started?
So it started back in 2007. My brother and I were running some cafes called Blue Bag in the city. We used disposable cups to serve the coffee, and I just thought, oh my God, how many we go through, all the cafes in Melbourne, all the cafes in the world, crazy. And did some research, found out that they weren't recyclable, so they just went into waste. And then went down to Myer to buy some reusable cups we could sell, and then found that all the thermoses didn't fit under the group heads of the machine, and thought, here's a problem we can solve. And once everyone finds out that these cups aren't recyclable, we'll get rid of them. They'll be banned. And I will 15 years later,
as a barista, getting that cup, that was like a dream. Everyone with their giant thermoses, finally having something that I could just put under the machine was amazing.
And dose correctly.
Yeah, and dose correctly. The barista standard, you might say.
Barista standard. And we said that when we had on the pack world's first barista standard reusable cup, and it just seemed like so apocryphal and it was sort of a bit tongue-in-cheek, and then that just took off, and then barista standards sort of became a language.
A term in and of itself.
Yeah, like oat milk became barista standard. Soy was barista standard.
And I remember chatting to you about first starting up. You said the kind of moment where you knew you had something, you went to was it a market? You were like going to sell the cups at a market. What happened there again?
So it was a design market in Federation Square, and we had like a trestle table and all these cups, and people were like, I don't even know what this is, but I want one. Like they like the look of it, or someone would be like, oh, I've seen this problem and this was my business idea. So it was just the right time, right place, right product.
Oh my God.
Right city.
Those lazy people out there that want to throw at you. I had this idea. Yeah, well, go do something about it. Get off your ass and actually make it. Don't come to me and tell me you had the same idea. But it must be a compliment, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
I've got an off the script question. My understanding is you're involved with this with your brother and maybe your dad. Is that correct? Like the family's involved in the business?
No, not anymore.
Okay. So they were, or?
They were. I was with my brother initially.
Yeah. So what was the point where you were just like, I'm actually going to order some prototypes or design something, and you're like?
I think that probably I can speak for my whole family when I say we're a bit like Kramer from Seinfeld. We've been undone by our unbridled enthusiasm for things. So that naivety of not, like we'd never made anything before, we never manufactured anything before, but we thought, oh, this looks easy, we'll give it a go.
First question, what's your favourite episode of Seinfeld? Mine's the Comfort Lanes one. Where
probably Elaine's dancing.
Oh, yeah.
I can really relate to that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The one where Elaine Kramer makes the comfort lanes in the highway.
Genius.
That's also
or
really
when he
good.
washes his vegetables in the shower at the same time.
Genius. Yeah. I wouldn't want to eat there, but genius. Jumping straight into the hard questions that we have. Do you see waste in general as a threat to our industry?
I see waste in general as a threat to the world. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm just driven by, I like the natural world. I like it to be there. And I see that the amount of trees we're cutting down for disposable packaging, and the fossil fuel industry now has convenience as one of its pillars for growth for the next 20 years. Like, it is a threat. And it probably, I don't know if it is so much a threat to the cafe industry more than climate change, which is a spin-off of this problem, is a threat to coffee growing and coffee costs and the viability of businesses as the price of beans increases. So it's all connected.
This is a great point to discuss for us all as well, because there's this idea. I remember when I was studying at university, I did this paper on what's called negative externalities. So it's like, what we do to, generate electricity in developed countries like ours and in other countries kind of creates a consequence for people in developing countries. And to give a very recent example, there's some Pacific Island nations close to Australia where the sea level's rising to such a level, they actually have to evacuate the entire islands and countries. So it's like what we do in Australia kind of has a consequence for them. And I guess maybe there's this idea that we should probably introduce on this podcast that like what we do as an industry has a consequence for coffee producers. It all works in cycles. So maybe there's something that we all need to generally have a bit more of a discussion about.
Absolutely. And it was good chatting. I remember when he chatted about Zakukabora and the projects kind of helping out the farms there. It talks a lot about the impact and that kind of circular economy of it.
One question I sort of always am confronted with, I guess you would say, when I'm looking at eco products, what would you classify your good as?
Yeah, I've got problems with eco products as well because we're all selling something, and in the end, when KeepCup first came onto the market, it probably for younger listeners this seems silly, but it was an innovation, and it was an innovation in the way people thought about consuming coffee and thought about that waste problem, and now. But we always knew that the sustainability part of it wasn't the driver to purchase and it wasn't the driver to behaviour. The driver to purchase and behaviour was the look and feel of it, how much you enjoy drinking about it, what it said about you as a coffee consumer. And then those sustainability things were rational reasons underneath that's what you tell your friends. But so...
Well, because one sort of issue that I have when I'm trying to make a purchase that's better for the planet, so to speak, is that I don't know what companies kind of have integrity anymore. Like I was one of those people that was recycling my soft plastics with RedCycle, and that turned out to not be credible at all. And then we saw a few, maybe 10 years ago now, Volkswagen, they were making these cars that were supposedly emitting less emissions, and they actually just fitted a chip in there that made it say that they were emitting less, but they were emitting more. Massive scandal. So, I guess coming from, a business that's doing something that's good for the environment, how can we sort of, as consumers, buy into that a bit more, if you can comment on that?
I don't think you should buy into anything. And, the most sustainable thing you can do is not buy anything. And I think that, I've seen that with my kids now. They're like, you're selling a reusable cup when you don't even need that. You don't need a disposable cup. You don't need a reusable cup. Just go and have it, up in the cafe. So that's the end point. But then it's making value-based decisions. I think one of the challenges for KeepCup is that we're all about individual behaviour change, and that if you carry KeepCup, when we first started, you'd see someone else with one, and that you'd sort of get a bit of a wink and a nod to go, "You're in the club. You're doing the right thing." Not so much anymore, because I think people are wary of this sense that Clean Up Australia was invented by fossil fuel companies to put the responsibility back on individuals, to say you're creating litter rather than we're producing rubbish that you now have to dispose of. So there is a bit of tension there between who should be responsible for the waste that's being created.
Are you have you done quite a lot of research on consumer behaviours in the past, within your company to?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Probably observing is, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just curious because
we've done a lot of stuff on life cycle analysis, so we know a lot about our supply chain and how to manufacture and reducing waste in our supply chain, but probably less the consumer behaviour.
Yeah, right.
I actually read over some of that stuff, and one of the craziest things that I saw when it's talking about the sustainability of the cup is you guys are including, or the way that it's ranked, is people using power to wash it at home in a washing machine. So when you're accounting for the sustainability of a cup, it's not even the making of the cup or the person using it. You're counting the electricity being used by a washing machine to clean it.
Yeah, and the fact that it's fossil fuels. So as soon as you take out fossil fuels, our carbon emissions would drop by 95%.
For the whole company? For
the whole company, because we're looking at scope 3 emissions, which is how people are using it. So once you do that, then there is it's untenable that we're using single-use items so much.
That's crazy. That would annoy me so much if that was me running a company and I was told I had this huge carbon emission. I'm like, no, but it's people washing it at home. Just hand wash it. Is that better?
Hand wash is better.
Yeah, just hand wash it.
Quick rinse.
Yeah, quick rinse.
So I guess if the goal is to try and see more people using it, overall, I guess it's a good thing to say. Perhaps you can correct me on this. It's a better thing for the planet to use a KeepCup than to buy a reusable cup every day.
Single-use cup?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, heaps better. Yeah, of course.
So, so what can we? I own a cafe, and sometimes there's a bit of confusion about KeepCups. I even use. You can see me right now. I'm using KeepCup, not reusable. The term that is. But what can we do to sort of make? What do you think cafe owners can do, or workers can do to make it easier for cafes to sort of implement using reusable cups?
It's tricky because, and it's always been a tension in the business because the business grew with the specialty coffee industry and on the endorsement of baristas and people in coffee shops. But we also know that takeaway trade is sometimes absolutely critical for the viability of the business. So we really have to walk a line there in how we advocate that. So we've always said it's better to charge more for a disposable cup rather than give a discount for reuse, because then you're saying, hey, there's a cost to this item. You know, a disposable coffee cup probably costs about 40, 50 cents. Yep. So we're going to charge you for that item. If you bring in your own, then you don't get charged for it. So you're really putting the onus back on the customer about how they want to consume their beverage.
Because the mathematical equation there may end up being the same, but are you kind of flipping the psychological equation?
Yes,
okay,
yes. Because I think they did studies in the UK when they got rid of plastic bags, and when they put a 5-cent surcharge on plastic bag, like it plummeted by 85% rather than doing a positive endorsement. People avoid risk rather than go for reward.
That's super smart. And then it's basically like we're charging you for the liquid that comes out of this machine.
Yeah.
If you want a vessel for it, pay for it. If you bring your own vessel, great.
Or if you have it in.
Or as you know, I've seen on your channel, just put it in your hands and just drink it straight from your hands if you forget your KeepCup.
Yeah, totally.
Now, one thing, I don't know if this is observational or what it was, but I feel like COVID had a huge impact on reusable cups. I feel like before COVID, reusable cups were everywhere, and even to the point where if someone didn't use a reusable cup, they had a disposable, I feel like people were giving them greasies on the street. They were like, oh, look, you know, especially young people as well, like, look at this boomer
bozo.
Or this millennial or whatever. Look at this bozo with their disposable cup. Then COVID happened. All these laws came in about the hygiene, about whatever it is, and not being able to use reusable cups, and they got banned.
That was led by the big chains.
Oh, right.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, we've got some. Okay, I'm going to finish this question and then we're going to get into that. So I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, after COVID's happened, I'm just seeing disposable cups everywhere and no one cares anymore.
Yeah, I'd say that. I think it's coming back, but certainly before pre-COVID, we had David Attenborough's Blue Planet 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. We had War on Waste. We had War on Waste in the UK as well. So there was this growing awareness of the waste problem throughout the world. People were taking efforts into their own hands. There was this real sense of cultural change happening. Cafes were reporting 30% reuse rates. Some cafes were banning disposable cups, and then COVID happened. And I think it wasn't just the medical imperative for hygiene. It was the fact that people saw how quickly governments could make these wholesale changes that locked us inside our houses for months on end. So why weren't they making these big changes that could positively transform our lives?
Yeah.
And then you're seeing, you know, movie stars, or not movie stars, what are they called? Personalities, you know, getting their Learjet across, or not Learjet, they don't exist anymore.
Like the Taylor Swift, like getting a private jet.
To make a coffee. And like, well, why am I bloody trying to save on a reusable straw? Like the insanity of that really, I think, was brought home during COVID, and we haven't really recovered from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it's interesting seeing that side of you here where you're like, there has to be the side of it where you're like, individual change can make a difference, and then the other side where you're like,
no, hang on,
come on, bigger picture stuff here, people, make a difference. So we should all do our part, but it's like some of those bigger industries, you're like, that's what's really hurting us here. And really,
but then if you think, if culture is always first, you have to drive the cultural change, and that's what's the sad thing was I felt like we had the cultural momentum to get that legislation passed. Like in the UK, the Parliamentary Review Committee had said that if they couldn't make disposable cups recyclable within 4 years, in 2018, they would ban them in 2022. 2022 came and went.
Yeah. I had a question about legislative changes later on, but I think maybe we should just discuss it now a little bit. Do you think obviously, I hazard to guess, you don't think we go far enough? And in Australia, we kind of lag compared to the rest of the world. To give you an anecdote of my own, I went to Sweden in 2017, and at the end of every street in Sweden, there's like 7 or 8 different recycle bins. So you don't have it at your house waiting for a garbage man. You take it to the end of your street and you recycle it in one of the 7 bins. So that's just recycling, not general waste. And the culture there is that they'll actually come out if a neighbour sees you sort of putting it in the wrong bin, they'll come out and sort of educate you. That's it.
Educate you.
I think we've just got a glass bin in the local municipality here that we are currently situated in. So do you think, I guess my question is, do you think we go far enough at all?
No, I don't. But I think we have to be really careful about how we go far because, I think there's a bit of in the world at the moment, there's a cry for freedom that is tending to the far right. And so it's maybe thinking about other things we can all agree on that we want to keep that will drive some of that change. So if it's, protecting native forests from banning logging, then your paper industry has to reform and innovate. And I think that, one of the things about businesses they do innovate. So if you do sort of narrow the gates, they will find other ways to do things. And I think that's really important. But governments have become pretty toothless.
Well, I feel like environmentalism has lost a bit of its kind of appeal during a cost of living crisis. It's a fair sort of point to make that it's like, it's hard to get someone to spend more to make an eco-friendly decision in a cost of living crisis, which the whole world's currently enduring.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it was pretty interesting. This kind of question leads into something you were talking about before, where you said ultimately the end goal is that we don't have reusable cups, which is pretty funny to hear from someone that sells reusable cups. But I wanted to ask, how do you walk that line of being profitable but not creating excess waste? Because I feel like I see a lot of brands that are claiming to be that kind of eco reusable cup, and they're coming out with special editions, limited editions, new winter color ranges, summer color ranges, and all they're doing is promoting more and more and more sales and for people to collect more. It's like collect them all, collect all the colors, but that's kind of not the end goal. How do you walk that line? What's your thoughts on it?
I guess I walk that line because I answer to no one, and so we can do what we like as a business at maybe cost to our financial performance. But I do remember as like an 11-year-old kid thinking, why do they sell umbrellas? Like, surely everyone's got one by now.
Yeah. True.
Really trying to nut that out in grade 6 or something. We do lose things, upgrade things. Coffee habits change. So we've developed new products to respond to how and the next generation are drinking their coffee. So that innovation continues, and I think that's really important for our, sense of joy and participation in the world. But the message is still always the best reusable is the one you've already got.
Just on that trend you were speaking of having new release, I once had a Darth Vader KeepCup. Do you remember the Star Wars series
That
ones?
was a pet project of mine.
Okay, because...
Oh, wait. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. How does this come up every week?
This podcast is about to heat up because what happened was I had a Darth Vader KeepCup, right?
Yeah.
And I worked at a cafe in Fitzroy and I drank from the Darth Vader KeepCup every day. I was like, it's kind of like my pride and joy. I came into work one day and I said, guys, can't find the Darth Vader KeepCup. Where's it gone? One of my staff members, co-staff, actually gave it to a customer.
What?
I was like, you're kidding. You're absolutely kidding. Like I had a very...
Did you get them in the neck?
Just full of choke. And it was absolutely horrific. So, if you've got a spare Darth Vader KeepCup lying around, would appreciate.
Yeah, sure. Well, we don't, but
those things went like hotcakes.
They did. They went really well.
Yeah.
So where's the Star Wars fandom originate from? You just do it a long time. Oh, come on, we can dedicate a few minutes to this. Come on.
Okay, fine.
Come on.
You guys talk. I'm just going to check my phone for a while.
I loved Star Wars as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I wanted to be Han Solo or be in love with Han Solo. He was so cool.
Good looking rooster. I just watched Return of the Jedi last night. Conveniently enough, because I'm rewatching all of the Star Wars because I'm trying to sort of purge my brain of what's been going on since Disney owned it. Have you been a fan of their new films?
I love the one with Jyn Erso in it.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah,
I love that. That was
and
superb.
Andor and Mandalorian season 2. Awesome. Everything else, trash.
Well, that's not a bad run, right?
Well, it's actually quite bad because you think of all the series they've got. I'm just saying, Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
So anyway, yeah, your cups made of plastic, glass, cork, these kind of things.
Steel.
Oh, yep, you got steel. But there's the question of like, they're made out of all those different kind of products. How are they actually better than a reusable cup? Like at what level? Can you like kind of quantify it to me so I can understand?
Yes. So we did life cycle analysis in 2018 and 2020, revised it, where we looked at if you use a disposable cup for 250 days and use a Keep cup for 250 days, what is the difference? And for glass, it's 24 uses. You break even. For steel, it was 66 uses, and for plastic, it was 18.
Wait, so let me get that straight. So 18 uses. So are you just saying once you've used your Keep cup 18 times,
you're having a positive environmental impact over using disposable cups?
I thought it would have been way more. I thought it would have been like a year. So 18, how long would 18 uses be if I'm doing one a day? So it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And assuming you have the product, I think we did surveys with our customers to say how long have you had your Keep cup, and the average lifespan was about 4 years. So if you keep it for 4 years and use it for 4 years, you can't have a cupboard of 20 of them and use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very low.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can I ask, what's the most effective way to clean one, both in terms of hygiene and being environmentally friendly?
Oh, good question. We were talking about the washing machine
if you're
before.
really pointy about it, it's a quick hand wash.
Okay, because I was thinking about...
What about it just a spit and polish?
Well,
So I have gone in with a napkin and just wiped it.
Oh, there you go.
You could do that. But I thought to myself, it'd be, if you really want to encourage use, it'd be good if you got installed at your cafe like
a glass washer.
A hot water instant, sort of like almost like a jug rinser, but it has hot water. And so you can and it's got like a little bit of detergent or something.
Oh my God.
Maybe that won't work. But.
No, but that is genius, because you know what like my thing is, because I'm a disgusting slob with no morals and I'm terrible. My Keep cup, the amount of times when I was driving that I'd just like use
have it rolling
drink
around the back of the car.
And it was just sitting in my little side console.
Disgusting.
And then I get to the cafe and I'm like, I've got the dirty Keep cup there. I'm like, I can't take that in. Do I go into the bathroom and do it? But if there was like a setup thing where the baristas are like, you, but not them, you as the customer, just walk over there and just give it a little jibbity bibbity and it's all clean.
I feel like that is one good way to encourage it.
I really like that, because I reckon there'd be a lot of people who have left it in the car. My other one is being out on a walk, seeing the cafe, and I'm like, didn't bring the Keep cup. I've taken on the Italian trend of just give me the espresso at the bar.
Yeah,
if I ever forget
totally.
it. I'm like, just send up there and
We've got a water bottle that you can turn into a cup now.
Oh.
So you walk with your water bottle, you got your little cup in your pocket, and then you can just swap it over. Thought of everything. Oh, there you go.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
That's product placement.
That is product. I just placed these Keep cups up here. I just forgot they were there and just looked down. Oh, look at that.
Beautiful.
And it's a Keep cup.
Very good.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
That's some great product placement. That'll be $50 per
on that note, what are some myths about Keep cup that annoys you? Because I'm sure there's some.
Probably the Keep cup is the Keep cup being generic term is a double-edged sword, because it's great that everyone says Keep cup, but then if it's a different product that isn't quite as good, then it's like, oh, that's not ours.
So it's like being a victim of your own success in terms of your brand being so strong.
Yeah.
Not bad.
For me.
And can I ask about you had mentioned before about during COVID, like big chains and stuff kind of preventing perhaps lobbying for certain laws to be changed against reusable cups. Are you able to elaborate on any of that?
Well, I guess think of the businesses whose whole model is convenience. And they have they will serve more customers, make more money, because reuse slows you down. Reuse ultimately is a different way of consuming. Like there is a mindset change in having a reusable life. If you take it to the extreme, a reusable life and a disposable life of consumption. Yeah. So think of those businesses and they're lobbying hard.
Jeff Bezos had a famous line, which I think is incredibly true, but also incredibly troubling. When he was looking at brands, he was like, I don't do anything within fashion, within anything that is kind of a trend, because he goes, the one thing that will always sell is fast and cheap. And that is the death of, thanks, Jeff. Jeff with another one that's really helped us out there. And that's what Amazon is based on. You want it instantaneously and you want it cheap.
Yeah.
And it's
creating this idea that you need it instantly. And the reason you need it instantly is if you thought about it for a day, you'd be like, I don't really need that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's called Amazon because they're making the products by burning down the Amazon. It's actually a small fact people didn't know.
And I'll give you my other pet peeve is because we're into this, we do a lot of work in our supply chain to try and reduce impact. And when you start using stainless steel or glass, China is the only place you can get those products made these days. Like most of the manufacturing is there. And in those factories, we're like a pimple compared to the other bigger brands that are making stuff out of stainless steel. And everything comes in a plastic bag.
Oh, right.
Everything comes to you in a plastic bag. And so we worked really hard with our supplier to go, we don't want it in a plastic bag. And we designed like a little cradle thing that we then reused in the retail box and got plastic out of the supply chain. But those jobs should be being carried by bigger businesses that have the supply chain muscle, that have the time, that have the expertise to try and rip some of the unnecessary waste out of the supply chain. But they don't do it because customers don't see it, and therefore there's no marketing value in it.
If you don't see it, see no evil.
Yeah.
I've got a question that's just now off the cuff. That's kind of what we're talking about with bigger companies. And it's maybe just a way to let you off the leash and get angry about some stuff.
Great.
I've seen stuff with like Starbucks. They've like released these new disposable cold cups. And they're like, we're using 20% more plastic. We're doing this. And I'm like, cool. Like it's better than what it was. But it's just like,
total greenwash.
Yeah.
So KeepCup's been around for 15 years now. So I've seen pledge after pledge after pledge that never, and it's just the news cycle goes through and then they forget all about it. Coca-Cola, Starbucks, they all do it. Just, we're going to do this, and then everyone's on LinkedIn, oh, that's amazing, you're so good. And then they don't do it, and then the news cycle rolls around again, and then they make another announcement.
Should we make a documentary called The Great Pledge? And it just exposes every single pledge that has been made by all these giant corporations that has never come into reality.
I did once see someone had built this thing of all the pledges that Coke had made over the last 50 years. And it was this sort of mind map. And then it disappeared. Like you couldn't.
Coke. Big Coke got it down. That's scary.
On the other side to that, are there any sort of sustainability driven companies that you look up to when you go about your daily business? Is there any company out there, not necessarily in coffee, that like, oh yeah, well, they lead the field in that way? Yeah,
no, not really.
Okay,
not that I don't think there are, but I think you really need to. Yeah, it is hard to know as a customer what is actually going on.
Yeah, because I see a lot of conjecture about like a wind turbine, for example. You know, on one hand it generates wind, but some people are like, oh, you got to clear trees to make it, or it kills birds.
Yeah, I'm not keen on all that. That sort of taking it down to that is crazy. I mean, wind turbine, getting off fossil fuels is absolutely. I would say I think that a lot of the like Vestair Collective and a lot of the secondhand clothing companies are doing a fantastic job of making that the desired way to buy clothing and participate in fashion. I think that's breaking.
Yeah, right. Ron, you cooking up something over there?
I'm always cooking up something big.
Go on.
Something big. Like this coffee cup right here that we're looking at. It feels like we've been talking about it. I think Kirk and I both got interviewed about a similar thing, that ice drinks are blowing up. Obviously, they're huge in the States, but they're becoming the big thing here. I think that's partly due to the Starbucks trend overseas, the globalization of ideas, and kids basically just being on TikTok, seeing Americans drinking ice drinks and being like, well, we should drink ice drinks. I saw that you bought out this cold cup.
Yep.
Is that doing well? Is this going to be a big part of the business? Like, tell us about the cold cup.
So I think it's provided us with another occasion where people are reaching for a disposable cup and saying, and it's sort of back to KeepCup's roots. Like it's a lo-fi product. It's really simple to use. It's simple to put together, easy to clean, and it's just seamlessly sort of fits into your routine. And once again, it's premium for the beverage. It's all about the beverage. Part of the reason ice drinks are going off on social media is because they're so beautiful. And so if you put it in a giant Stanley mug, you can't see the craft and artistry of the beverage.
Is this the biggest this comes in?
We're just about to launch 20 ounce.
Oh my God, that sounds like the biggest paid promo I've ever seen in my life. That was a genuine question.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I feel like part of the appeal of like the American style cold drink is that it's so big and it's got these big, massive jumbo straws too. Like, look at this thing. You could,
go on.
I could move my entire furniture and, living arrangement there. That's huge. Like, but that's a good thing. That's what people want. Like and
boba and bubble tea, they're massive as well.
Yeah. We actually had a guy on one of our first podcasts, Hattie, who has a cup called boba, conveniently enough. And so basically he's got one side thicker, one side thinner. So the idea is that like you get a slightly different experience, kind of like wine vesseling for the coffee cup. Maybe you could do one like that. Or maybe I should just tell him, hey, make a reusable.
Boba cup. Do you use this for boba or for coffee?
He's called it boba, but it's like a dual-use cup. So have we got one here?
No, he didn't. I had him on, did some videos with him, didn't even leave me any product.
All right.
How's that?
Well, we'll bring you one. But anyway, I just think like part of the allure of this whole iced coffee thing is that it's so big, and people want to drink a big iced latte.
Yeah, I think you've hit the Instagram, TikTok market pretty well with that. Like it looks pretty cool. And if you want any tips for making viral content, layered drinks. People love a layered drink. If you do two-tone of anything, people go ham for it. They go crazy. The latest thing now is those cracking chocolate cups, except they're no good because they're in disposable cups.
What are cracking chocolate cups?
Oh, they get a plastic clear cup, like a disposable one, and they put like a chocolate sauce inside that hardens, and then you make the drink inside it. So you've got a hard chocolate coating the inside, and then you film yourself crunching the cup, and you hear all the cracking, and then all the coloured like matcha or pink strawberry comes through the chocolate.
That could go horribly wrong for you too.
Yeah, you could just squeeze it and burst it out over yourself. Yeah, I'm sure that's happened once or twice.
Right. So on that note, is there anything else you're kind of working on besides 20-ounce iced coffee cups that you're looking to do in the future? Come on, tease the market. What's KeepCup cooking up?
Well, think of we always think of where people are choosing convenience over reuse, and I think a big growth is in. I don't really want to tell you, 'cause then.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, we can't get the exclusive?
Oh.
Hey, how about this? We've got it now. You tell us when we're doing it if we can have it or not. And if not, we'll get them to bleep it out.
Okay.
So that's going to be great because everyone's going to be pissed off they don't get to hear it, but we're hearing it.
I'll redact it. It's easy.
So we're doing
Oh my God! What? Oh!
They're really going to do that?
Oh my God!
They're going to do that?
Are you allowed to do that? Is that even legal?
That's prohibitato.
reuse. So we're like, oh my God, there's a market for this if we get this right.
How good's my investigative journalism here? It's like, didn't you have soup in it? No, but I'm just way off with the information. It's not even close.
It's good.
Yeah, there's something about soup into there. Now, one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to have to pull out my phone here, is I saw that you guys did a viral video the other day that went off. So basically you did a video showing that disposable paper cups actually have a plastic lining on the inside of them.
Yeah.
And when you're putting hot liquid into them, they did a study to show that there's like thousands of microplastics that are going into the coffee. And so you did a video being like, these cups aren't only bad for the environment, it's bad for your health. Use a KeepCup. And you kind of showed the inside lining of it.
Yeah, like a plastic bag. It's like a polyethylene bag that we're drinking out of.
Yeah, it's like a plastic bag. And so how many views did that video get on your Instagram?
I don't know. You'd need to ask the people who filmed it and put it up on the...
Last I checked, it was in the millions club.
It's 9.1 million of like where it was going. And so I saw you from KeepCup actually in the comments having a bit of fun there. Some of these comments were bloody ridiculous. I thought I'd just pull up a few of them and just get your reaction. You can have a comment. It can be a reaction. Some of them, there's probably not much to say to, but I just thought I'd bring them up. So one comment to you talking about how there's microplastics was, let us die, stop posting stuff.
Yeah.
This is like Jimmy Kimmel's-
So I can tell you, if we had have posted that 15 years ago, people would have been outraged about the plastic and they would have been like, oh my God, I didn't know that. Like, that's so important. And now they're like, are you serious? Like, there's so much plastic in our lives. It's almost like 15 years ago in Australia, the disposable coffee cup was like there wasn't much else that was in disposable packaging. And now it's everywhere. Yeah.
And I feel like people also now just want those likes in the comments. So you just get these comments like, I love chewing on the paper cups and then eating them. They are tasty as AF. What a snack. Again, we have
a lot of plastic in their balls. That was a big...
I had that one coming up. I have plastic in my balls.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to say that. I thought that's probably unbecoming,
No, but they do. So for people who don't know, they've done research now that all men have traces of microplastic in their testicles now is the new study that's coming out. So you can tell we're eating all the wrong stuff.
When women are giving birth to actual Barbies, it's gone too far.
and in microplastics in breast milk as well. So you got plastic babies drinking plastic. We're in a plastic world here.
I was wondering what was going on when I gave birth to that Barbie the other day. Wasn't sure what was going on there, but I think I've got an origin for the story now. Thanks for that. Thanks for clarifying.
This one is throwing it to you with a little question about what you're making there. What the F are you talking about? Your lids are made of plastic.
Yes.
Do you have a response to that?
So sure do. So if you take 20 disposable cups and lids and take the paper off the outside and then put it next to one plastic KeepCup, even if it's full, it's 20. So it's not just about plastic, and that's the point. It's about the volume of plastic that we're going through. So it's a volume question.
I'm hoping you have
volume issue.
Have you got one savage clapback in you to any of these comments?
What?
A savage clapback or a response of your own where you can you're here now. I mean, you're probably not as petty as Rowan and I, but you can say something mean back to these people saying mean things to you right now.
I didn't think they were mean. I agree with people. It's not right, and something should be done about it. I'm there for the outrage.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And the final one I had was, none of this matters, no matter how hard you try to save the environment or be good to your health. None of it matters. But remember, we have Taylor Swift. Is that that sounds like it's meant to say that Taylor Swift is good. I would just say that that's adding to the doom,
Yeah, I don't know what that feels like. They had a better point without the Taylor Swift at the end.
Yeah. None of this matters. Correct. None of it does matter. Good day. See you around.
Well, who sings Nothing Else Matters?
That's Metallica.
Metallica, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Look at you two.
Can you do a Metallica? Never cared for what they know.
Oh, yeah. Can you sing? Can you sing any Metallica?
Do you know that song? I love that song.
What's your favorite Metallica song?
Oh, wait.
Probably that one. Nothing Else Matters. Have you seen the video, the documentary about them, where they're going across the Golden Gate Bridge in these potted up hot rods that are all brightly coloured, and they're like, we just want to be incognito. We can't. We just get stopped all the time. We don't understand. It's like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you stick out like a sore thumb in one of those cars, but
completely off.
Close
enough to some Metallica. Yo, boy.
I'm going to have to go Spit Out the Bone or Unforgiven 3 is my favourite Metallica songs.
Unforgiven.
Oh, look at you two are just cut from the same cloth. You got your Star Wars, your Metallica. You guys are just going to go and smoke some ganja and have the perfect time of your life.
20-ounce coffee cups. This goes on and on and on.
This has nothing to do with anything except Metallica, which I'm not the biggest, not that I'm not a fan of, but I just wasn't that into it. But the most American experience I had was going to the baseball one day and in San Francisco, and then the national anthem gets played and just Metallica walk out and they're playing the national anthem. And I'm like, what the hell is happening to my friend? He's like, oh, it's Metallica Day. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, oh, once a year Metallica are a big baseball fan, so they just come and play. And then throughout the different innings, they just come out and do all the in-between music.
Sounds like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yes, exactly. It was like a Simpsons episode. The giant Coke sign in the background, Metallica playing the national anthem. It was an experience.
Sounds like my kind of sporting game.
Did you have the food out of the plastic baseball cap?
Oh, no plastic baseball cap. We did have all the giant stuff.
Yeah, you could order your chips or your guac in a baseball cap.
Oh, I want that. I mean, it's bad for the. I mean, I don't want that. Unless it's like a real baseball cap that you then get to take and wear afterwards.
Well,
no? Okay.
Well, I've got some non-coffee questions for you now. And, I understand if your answer to this is either James Hetfield or Kirk Hammett.
I don't know who they are.
Lead singer and head guitarist for Metallica.
Oh, yeah. Not good with names.
Not that into it. Just into the music.
And one person dead and one person alive you would love to have coffee with.
The dead person will be one of my grandparents. Love to hang out with them again.
Oh, what? That's the most sentimental answer we've ever had.
Well, what's that?
Beautiful.
Well, because they died probably 30 years ago, and I'd love to meet them now and just go, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is such a good point. Not from a my we're getting sentimental here now. I need to talk quieter on the pod. My father passed away when I was like 16. And so there'll always be a hole, but you move on, you do whatever. But now I'm also just would be so curious to have the conversation with them now as a man, as an adult, and to know that person. Because at the time that I knew him, he was always my father, and there was that separation down of like being the father figure. But now I think would be closer to friends and just seeing what that relationship would be like. So I completely understand.
Yeah, how you feel about aging, what you think about the world, how you think about kids. Like, fascinating.
Yeah.
And someone alive, I have lots of them in my brain. And now probably I'd like to speak to maybe like Haruki Murakami, the writer.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, maybe him. The guy who wrote Cloud Cuckoo Land. I'd like to speak to him. Yeah. Or even like one of the inspirations for KeepCup was Jared Diamond.
Oh, yeah.
So he wrote this book called Collapse about societies collapsing, and often societies collapse, like the Greenlanders, the Easter Islanders, they collapse because people hang on to cultural norms that actually mean the society can't exist. So the Greenlanders, Norwegians went to Greenland and they wouldn't eat the seal and the fish. They wanted to eat cows and chickens because that's what they were used to. And of course they all died, so they died. So it made me think about disposable cups and our convenience culture. It's like we're clinging onto this like it's a human right and it's going to kill us.
I don't know how to respond on the pod when I'm talking to someone that's so much smarter than me. I'm just like,
maybe just say nothing. Yeah. let me do the talking.
I'm like, I'd like to talk to Ronald McDonald if I had a chance. He's a funny clown.
Have you read the book Limits to Growth?
No.
Okay, well, I forget the author of that, but that's one in uni that made me read. It was quite good. So I feel like it's a very iconic book in environmental politics. So.
Didn't even know who wrote it. Shut up. You're an idiot.
Yeah. All right. Well, last question then. What would you like people to remember you by?
Don't care. Like, I just want to be.
Yeah. I suppose
I'll be dead.
Yeah.
And as long as I've been loved and had enjoyed the company of the people I love, nothing else matters.
I like that.
Well, on that sad day that comes, if you do get cremated, this could be a fantastic. What a way to go.
Yeah.
I'll just have you up on. Can we have you here? Just on the mantle? Up the top.
In loving memory of.
If I do pop off, just you heard it here, I don't want to be cremated. I want to be buried like in a, you can have a natural burial where they just put you in a bag and put you in the, like, so you just
they
rejuvenate
do ones where
a
you're
forest.
you get in a bag at the roots of a tree.
Yeah.
And you get put in. I want that as well.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And then I want it to be like a fruit tree. And then when people are eating the apples, it's like, you're eating rowan apples. Rowan apples.
I haven't gone that far, but I'm definitely going to pick a.
What fruit, if you were to die and be a fruit tree, what fruit are you rocking?
That's a good one.
Where does this podcast go? I always go off track, and it's like it's becoming like the famous thing here where I'm just talking crap and Kirk just goes, all right then.
Kirk says anyhowser.
In the news, that's when the guy goes to the weather.
Yeah, but sorry, back to fruit tree. What I want this from you as well, Kirk.
I want to say banana just to be funny, but probably I'd be maybe peach.
Oh, peach. Peach is a great one.
Peaches are nice.
I'm a pineapple.
Oh, pineapple.
Like, I'm as white as they come. I don't scream funk at all, but, I still want to brighten up people's day. Pineapple.
Yeah, nice. Pineapple's
I'd be an avocado because I'm the good kind of fat.
Yeah.
You are fat. All right. So we got... This is a running joke that we have about...
Because of my shred diaries.
Yeah.
Because I put
Yeah,
my shred... Oh, I didn't do my shred diaries for those that are tuning in.
Are you shredding for a wedding?
No, just
stereo.
shredding.
He's shredding for stereo.
Stereo.
What does that mean?
Oh, Liam gets it.
It's a music festival where traditionally all the boys get their shirts off. So
sounds good.
Months before they shrink.
Sounds good. Yeah.
We'll get you a ticket. No, I just felt like, I feel like when losing weight or when going on that kind of thing, being accountable with something is always the easiest way to do it. And if I have to come up to this podcast every week and announce my weight, then I'm accountable.
I would find a way to wriggle out of that.
This has been going on for like 3 months and you're a kilo down. So,
I was down 5 kilos. I put on 2 kilos and now I'm back down 1 kilo. So I'm down 4 kilos all in all.
That's impressive.
That's a net gain or net loss. But anyway,
I'm going to slap you right in the face.
We got 2 segments left. Okay. So they'll wrap up the last little bit of the podcast. One of them, the next one is called rapid fire questions.
Oh, do we have the rapid fire? We're doing them.
Yeah, of course. But I'm not sending them to you in the show notes so there can be an element of surprise.
You can roast me in them.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but anyway, so I'm about to ask you 20 questions.
Okay.
In 1 minute, and you need to answer them as quickly as you can.
Okay.
All right.
We've had 1 or 2 people get through them all.
Yeah, Jay Jennings crushed it. Remember that?
Yeah,
I was like, I need bloody 40 questions for you. Anyhow, so Liam.
There it is.
Hey, it's just questions.
Let's roll.
And your time starts now.
Batch brew or cold brew?
Batch.
Washed or natural?
Washed.
Co-fermented coffees, yes or no?
No.
LA or London?
London.
Voldemort or Sauron?
Sauron.
Filter or espresso?
Filter.
7-Eleven or Coles coffee?
Oh, neither.
Instant or McDonald's?
Neither.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Sabrina Carpenter, yes or no?
Don't know who that is.
Favourite Bee Gees album?
Don't know.
Best podcast ever?
This one.
Most underrated coffee venue in Melbourne?
I don't know.
Favourite sport?
Bushwalking.
Okay. Best dinner in Melbourne? We can go toddy like we were talking about before.
Yeah, toddy.
Yeah. Favourite cause you support?
Oh, nature.
Xiaolong bao or ravioli?
Xiaolong bao.
Yes!
Curry or noodles?
Curry.
Have you seen the movie Undercover Brother before?
No.
Okay, just curious. All right, well, that's the second last segment, which leads us to our last segment. Now, guys, this segment is the greatest segment in all of coffee podcastery. Rowan, what's the time for?
It's time for an extra hot take with 2 sugars. We got segments for days. So this is Extra Hot Take with 2 sugars, where we say our extra hot take about something in the industry. I'm going to go first, and then Abigail, we're going to get to you because I know you were just pondering something, thinking something up that you're going to have a hot take about. So I'm going to come up with my hot take right now. I don't care how good your cafe is, how good your hospitality venue is. If there is a line out the front of your place, I ain't lining up. I've hit the age where I'm sick of lining up for things. I will take a subpar breakfast over waiting half an hour to get it.
Boomer.
Well,
you said you left yourself open there. You said I've hit the age, so like you're wide open target for me now. So yes, you're a boomer. And
I'm going to throw it out there that I'm just that good at cooking and doing stuff now where I'm like, I'm going to make something better than 90% of these places anyway. So why would I wait in the line?
What if you had a few bevies in the line with a few new friends?
Oh, I have had that at a restaurant before where we've got to order cocktails. But what do you mean, just bring something out?
Yeah. I was in a line in Japan and they went and got a bottle of whiskey and all the people in the line had a little nip.
Okay, I've got to change on my hot take. If you give me a bottle of whiskey in the line to your venue, I will wait in that line.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's good, yeah.
Well, maybe that needs to be the change for venues. You need to come up with a way to make the line part of the experience.
Yeah, that wasn't the venue though. That was just some enterprising Australians, of course.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get some enterprising Australians and just adjust the whole system here because that's why Kate Reid is a friend of mine, so she's going to hate me if she ever listens to this. Kate Reid, owner of Loon. I've never actually been to Loon before because I refuse to wait in a line for an hour to get a croissant.
You must be going like on a Saturday morning or something.
No, there's...
That's when they're at their peak.
But there's always a line. Like even like during the week, I went the other day, it was an afternoon on Thursday and there was a line of about 25, 30 people. Sorry for Kate, I have had the croissants before. I've just had people bring them to me.
Vegemite one with cheese.
There's an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue joint next, close to the shop, and there's always like a very big line for that. All-you-can-eat Korean barbecue.
A line always creates a line because you go, that looks good. That must be good.
Yeah.
I had a theory that even if cafes weren't that good, if they had a line back in the day, maybe we talked about it on the pod the other week, where it's just like you've got hungover people on a Saturday, they're hungry already, they wake up late, then they wait in a line for an hour, then they wait for their food in an hour. Of course they think it's the best breakfast they've ever had. They're starving. They're just like, of course these hash browns with a couple of poached eggs is life-changing.
Well, Boomer won't line up. Couldn't bring himself to do it. Have you got an extra hot take with 2 sugars, Abigail?
I'm not sure that I do.
No, you're too kind.
You can be the first pass if you like.
Oh, look at the pressure he throws on. You can be the first pass.
I think I've got 2.
You got 2. You do yours then. I'll see if I can think one up. Because I wasn't thinking before I was talking.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, my extra hot take with 2 sugars is, can you please stop wearing headphones when you're waiting for a coffee? I just can't stand it. Like people, they order a coffee, then they go play, I don't know, it could be Metallica for all we know, and they're just absolutely blaring their headphones. I'm yelling out, inspired unemployed style, Alfred! You basically have to scream. You have to go knock him in the face. And then they take their headphones off. I could be saying James, and they're thinking, Lachlan? Did you say Lachlan? Take your headphones off, son.
Or do what I do when I'm waiting in line. I have the AirPods. Just one AirPod out.
Oh, that's what my son does everywhere.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
At dinner with one ear pod in.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Dinner.
Yeah, at dinner.
Yeah.
That's a pet peeve.
So there you go. Stop. Young kids, stop having one AirPod in. There's a hot take with 2 sugars. I actually started doing that of COVID, and I know it's like the douchiest thing, but because we were working remotely, it's just like everyone's calling constantly. I was like, just leave a headphone in, beep, answer, beep, hang up.
Does it still work?
Yeah. So it's always connected. You're getting Siri's reading me what's happening on my phone in my pocket, going, notification from TikTok. Big boy 54
couldn't
said on your
that.
Video. Yeah. It's just not good.
I've got another pet peeve now at work. We play music. To just pretend that I'm like,
no music in the office.
No, they have music all the time, and so I've got the Sonos thing. So if I don't, I just skip, or I turn it down, turn it down secretly. They all know it's me though.
Yeah, you know what annoys me when you're at the beach or you're on the train or something, and someone's playing music out loud.
I love that.
Oh, I can't stand it.
I was walking to work the other day, and there's this guy walking along with the music playing out loud, singing. And then these old guys walking behind going, what's he doing? And I was just like,
well, my honourable mention hot take was going to be to public transport officers. I got my first fine for fare evading in Melbourne today.
I've had one of them.
Lived here for 10 years, fundamentally against tapping onto a tram.
Well, because you're reducing waste by not having a stupid card.
Yeah, well, I just think that's something that we should be providing to people for free. But in Queensland, they just started doing it for 50 cents, which I think's, also that's a good deal.
Great deal.
But my honourable mention for extra hot take with 2 sugars is public transport officers, the ones who go out and issue fines, quit your job.
What are they going to do?
Find something else. I think we're recruiting for the army. You could go, I don't know, be a barista if you really like. Nothing's worth that amount of money.
KeepCup warehouse.
No, keep a thought for the common man. Ditch that one. Not a fan.
I won't think about any of the implications, but I will say free public transport. I'm in for it. I'll take it.
Well, that just about wraps us up on the It's Just Coffee podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, Abigail.
Pleasure.
What a pod.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We enjoyed having you here. What a get. It's always nice when you have some really influential people in.
Well, yeah, and just if you do have a Darth Vader KeepCup lying around somewhere in the warehouse.
Look it up.
We'll take.
Don't give it to him.
Yeah, thanks again. And
doesn't deserve it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. It's been another great podcast. I'm Kirk Pearson.
I'm Rowan Cook. And it's just coffee.
We'll do it one more time.
Do I have to do it?
Yeah, of course. I'm Kirk Pearson.
I'm Rowan Cook. And it's just coffee. Yay! Thank you, Abigail.